Good morning to all professors. My topic is a study of a fetal-maternal outcomes in pregnancy with polyhydramnios. Um, First of all, introduction. Polyhydramnios is an excess of an amniotic fluid in a gravid uterus has been long since recognized as a known complication of pregnancy. It has been known to be associated with many maternal and fetal complications. Normally, amniotic fluid is approximately 30 ml at the 10 weeks, 40 ml at the 20 weeks, and 1 liter at the 35 weeks, and 250 ml at a 43 week of gestation. And any excess of a fluid beyond the normal limits is labeled as a polyhydramnios. Various maternal and fetal conditions may be etiologically related to the polyhydramnios. With the evidence of ultrasonography, the diagnosis and management of polyhydramniosis has been easy and better now. Easier diagnosis, screening, and management has resulted in a better maternal and fetal both the outcomes. The purpose of this study is to evaluate the demographic factors related to it and evaluate the outcome in maternal and fetus. Amniotic fluid physiology. First of all, is a fluid is a probably of a mixture of maternal and fetal origin. Production is from a transduction of a maternal serum across the placental membranes, transduction from the fetal circulation across the umbilical cord, secretion from the amniotic epithelium, and the transduction of fetal plasma through the highly permeable fetal skin before it is keratinized at the 20th week. Fetal urine, mostly daily output at term is about 400 to 1200 ml. Now, removal of the amniotic fluid. Fetus swallows about 500 ml to 1 liter of a liquor every day. Now, intramembranous absorption of water and solutes like 200 to 500 ml per day from the amniotic compartment to the fetal circulation through the fetal surface of the placenta. As we can see through the diagram, the in first diagram, must amniotic fetus can be swallow the it is shown that fetus can swallow about 500 to 1000 ml of the liquor every day, and intramembranous absorption is also denoted by the green arrow. Now, definition of the polyhydramnios is a amniotic fluid intakes greater than 24 centimeter or any linear array real-time obstetric ultrasound or a single amniotic fluid more than or equal to 8 centimeter on the obstetric ultrasound or amniotic fluid index greater than 95th percentile for the gestational age. Etiology is polyhydramnios can occur due to excessive production of liquor or a defective absorption. It can be either a excessive production or a defective absorption. So, first of all, most common cause is the idiopathic, which can be seen in the two-third of the cases, and which could be unknown. Now, maternal causes include diabetes, renal, or a cardiac disease. Fetal causes include twin pregnancy, congenital anomalies like anencephaly, spina bifida, esophageal or duodenal atresia. Placental causes is like placental cholangioma. The complications of the polyhydramnios is been associated with the maternal and fetal complications. In maternal complications, it can complicate as a preeclampsia, malpresentation of the baby, persistence of the floating head, premature rupture of the membrane, which is known as the preterm labor. Placental abruption can also be can occur due to polyhydramnios. Fetal complications are increased perimeter mortality due to the prematurity and the congenital abnormalities like for congenital anomalies like 4 and 5. Now, various definitions of the polyhydramnios. AFI greater than 24 centimeter on any linear array real-time obstetric ultrasound. Then single amniotic fluid pocket more than equal to 8 centimeter on a ultrasound. Or as I earlier mentioned that amniotic fluid index greater than 95th percentile of the gestational age can be also be defined as a polyhydramnios. And then types of polyhydramnios: acute polyhydramnios, subacute polyhydramnios, and chronic polyhydramnios. Now, in acute polyhydramnios, it is usually a fulminant second trimester process with fluid accumulating rapidly over a period of a few days, usually 3 to 5 days. It is associated with a high perinatal mortality and major fetal malformations. Then subacute polyhydramnios increase amniotic fluid index occurs over 1 to 2 weeks, and chronic is a gradual onset and presenting usually in the third trimester. Then we can de- uh, defined or classified polyhydramnios in a mild, moderate, or a severe also. And then, according to amniotic fluid index, mild polyhydramnios is labeled when the amniotic fluid index is 25 to 29.9 centimeter. If AFI is 30 to 34.9 centimeter, it is labeled as a moderate, and if it is greater than 35 or a more equal to 35, it is labeled as a severe. Then, according to single deepest pocket, it is labeled as a mild when the single deepest pockets of out of four pockets is 8 to 9.9 centimeter. Then moderate when 10 to 11.9 centimeter, and severe when greater than or equal to 12 centimeter. Then complications of a polyhydramnios. uh, as per the maternal side, during the pregnancy, increased incidence of preeclampsia, malpresentation, persistent of floating head, prom, preterm labor, and accidental hemorrhage. Then, during the labor, early rupture of the membrane cord prolapse can be a quite dangerous complication of polyhydramnios. Then, uterine inertia, which can lead to PPH, increased operative delivery due to malpresentation, and retained placenta. And I mentioned PPH and shock. Then, during puerperium, subinvolution of the uterus. Increased popular morbidity due to infection resulting from increased operative interference and blood loss. Then fetal complications of the polyhydramnios are increased perinatal mortality mainly due to the premature and congenital anomalies. Other contributing factors are the hydrocephalus, cord prolapse, effects of increased operative delivery, and accidental hemorrhage. Then aims and objectives of this study is to ascertain the influence of demographic factors such as age, parity, or if any occurrence and severity of the polyhydramnios, to evaluate the maternal and fetal causes of the polyhydramnios, and to study the maternal outcomes in terms of a time and mode of delivery, intrapartum and postpartum complications, and fetal-maternal outcome in terms of a maturity and occurrence of a congenital anomalies in pregnancy complicated with polyhydramnios. The method and the materials which I use for this study is the study was conducted at the Department of Obs and Gynec at the SVP Hospital Ahmedabad. It was a prospective observational study of 50 cases of polyhydramnios carried out between the period of July 2018 to the 2019 to the December 2019 in the VS General Hospital Ahmedabad. A detailed history was taken, including the previous obstetric history of the mother, and the general physical examination was done in every case, like general obstetric examination including per abdo, per speculum, the per vaginal examination. Routine investigations were carried out. Specific investigations were required when we uh, carried out when we required it. Ultrasound was done in the every cases. Management protocol was decided considering the chief complaints of the patient and maternal conditions. Mother and baby were followed up till the discharge, and further follow-up was advised in babies with any congenital anomalies. Then results and discussion of the method that the present study to determine the maternal and fetal outcome in cases of pregnancy with the polyhydramnios, and the following observations were made, like shown in the table. The distribution of the cases of polyhydramnios according to the age. So first of all, we do have a primary patients in the age of 15 to 20 years, and the number of the patients were 3, and the percentage were 6%. Then 21 to 25 years of age, the number of patients were 21. During the age group of 26 to 30, the percentage of was the 25, which is the maximum of a age group, which is a 26 to 30, and the half of the polyhydramnios cases in the pregnancies was observed during these age group. And the 31 to 35, the case were only one, and the percentages of only 2%. And during the gravida status of the patient, that 30, as I earlier mentioned, that the 68% were the multigravida, and the 32% were the 32% of patients were the primigravida. Now, according to amniotic fluid index in the USG, like mild, as earlier defined, that mild polyhydramnios is when the AFI is 25 to 29, which is according to 69% of the cases are seen. Then moderate cases are seen in the 22%, and the severe cases were seen when the AFI is 35 or above, which was the 9%. And according to the mode of delivery, is the data shown, the normal delivery is carried out in the 68% of the people, and the CS need mostly due to the malpresentations and the persistent floating head, which is of a 30% of the total percentage, and instrument delivery like vacuum was needed in the 2% of the delivery. As I mentioned in this chart, this chart has shown that the maternal complications according to AFI in the USG. That above chart shows that various complications associated with the various grades of the polyhydramnios. Most common complications are PIH, which is termed as a pregnancy-induced hypertension, followed by the preterm labor and malpresentation. Pulmonary Pregnancy induced hypertension was present in the 60% of the cases, and the preterm labor was the 8% of the cases. Malpresentation was also present in the 8% of the cases. Then premature rupture of the membrane and post-date complicated the 4% of the pregnancies each. So RH incompatibility was also present in the 2% cases, and gestational diabetes was also in the 6% of the cases, and PPH were occur in the 4% of the pregnancies, and cord prolapse and the abruption was occurred in the 2% of the cases. Now the etiology, possible etiology I have shown in the chart, as according to, as I earlier mentioned, in the most of the cases it is a idiopathic, which is of a unknown origin. Then next to the idiopathic is a congenital anomalies, which considers 31 percentage. Then RH immunization can also cause the polyhydramnios, which can complicate in the 2% of the pregnancies, and the GDM can also cause polyhydramnios, which is of a 6%. Then effects of the polyhydrams on the fetal outcome, like it 80% of the deliveries, whether it is a normal delivery or a cesarean or a operative delivery, 80% of the babies were the healthy and very well cried just after the deliveries. Then congenital malformations were seen in the 31% of the babies. Stillborn were also seen in the 11% of the babies, and neonatal death has occurred in the 9% of the percentages of the people pregnancies. Then the according to the body systems, there are several congenital anomalies seen in the polyhydramnios, in which of CNS and central nervous system anomalies have been shown in the 7% of the people. CVS has been shown in the two patients. Then renal anomalies has been seen in the one patient, and the skeletal anomalies has been seen in the two babies, and the gastrointestinal anomalies has been seen in the three babies. Now, summary and the conclusion of this whole study is that in the present study, the 50 cases of the polyhydramnios found that the commonest age group was the 21 to 25 years, accounting for the 42% of the cases. Polyhydramnios is more common in a multigravida, accounting to the 68% of the cases. The commonest symptom was the pain in abdomen, and the commonest time of the presentation was in the third trimester, and the incidence of the mild polyhydramnios is 69%, and moderate is the 22, whereas the severe is the 9%, and the normal vaginal delivery has been occurred in the 68% of the patients, whereas LSCS was required in the 30% of the cases. Now, polyhydramnios was the idiopathic in the 61% of the cases, and 31% cases were due to anomalies, and the 2% has been due to RH immunization, and the 6% has been due to GDM. Pregnancy-induced hypertension was the most maternal common complications, followed by the preterm labor and the malpresentations. Looking at the neonatal outcomes, now 80% persons were born alive and 31% had congenital anomalies. Among them, the most common congenital anomalies was the central nervous system. It hence concluded that the polyhydramnios is a common condition complicating the pregnancy. It is mostly an idiopathic condition. Among the etiologies, most common is a congenital fetal malformations. Mostly patients with polyhydramnios have only mild increase in the amniotic fluid, and such case of the outcomes are the good. Thank you everyone.